When getting used to how Sotair works, it's ideal to watch this video with the device and a manual resuscitator bag in your hands. Scan the QR code on the package label to access Sotair's instructions for use. Remove the Sotair from its packaging and inspect it. If you see any damage, discard the device and use another unit. Tightly connect the manual resuscitator bag to the Sotair. It only fits one way. Once connected, perform a leak test by pushing the open end of the device into the palm of your hand. Squeeze the bag. It should feel rigid. If it is not rigid, there is an air leak somewhere in the system. You will have to identify the source of the leak and replace any faulty parts or tighten connections. Connect the open end of Sotair to a mask, endotracheal tube, supraglottic airway, or other adjunct device. If using a mask, hold it firmly against the patient's face to create a seal. Deliver breaths by squeezing the bag with one hand over 1 second every 6 seconds. The goal is to deliver a breath just below the limiting action of the Sotair device. If you squeeze the bag too hard or too rapidly, the valve will activate, the bag will become rigid, and the device will prevent air from being delivered to the patient. On the other hand, if you squeeze gently and slowly, the bag will remain pliable and air will be delivered. Squeeze the bag gently over about 1 second. Increase the depth or speed of the squeeze until the valve activates and the bag becomes rigid. It is important to be familiar with the sight, sound, and feel of the device once it has been activated. The Sotair does not prevent underventilation. Do not be afraid of occasionally hitting the flow-limiting threshold. If you do reach the flow-limiting threshold, you can be assured that the device is working and that you have successfully prevented an unsafe breath from being delivered to the patient. Upon reaching the threshold, release the bag and wait 6 seconds to deliver your next breath. If you continue to hit the threshold, increase the time of the bag squeeze, not to exceed 2 seconds. You want to squeeze enough volume over 1 second to remain just below the threshold. When transitioning care with the Sotair device, tell the receiving provider how it works. Identify that the Sotair is being used. When air is delivered, too much or too rapidly, the Sotair activates, completely stopping air from being delivered to the patient, making the bag rigid. You need to squeeze the bag with one hand over 1 second every 6 seconds to deliver safe breaths.